Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. This is a weekend update for the week ending Friday, May 1st. We're going to take a look at the Qs this week. So on Friday, the Qs were up 641, up 1027 for the week. 5 spectacular weeks in a row, continuing to push higher. And you can see over here the Keltner channels just getting above the Keltner channels and continuing to ride above them very strongly. They're overbought. We are getting divergence on the RSI. Divergence is showing up on DI plus also. And I know people are going to say you don't need to have volume increasing for it to go up, but I tell you what, this volume drop off on the weekly chart with these increasing move pushes to the upside just jumps right off the screen at you. And I've always believed that that's not a positive. So we'll see if the chickens are going to come home to roost. I think they are. So that's where we sit with the Qs. I want to take a look at the Elliott Wave picture. Now I've got a couple of scenarios here that could be playing out, and we'll see which ones the price action confirms. Okay. So right now I've been talking about a corrective pattern sideways after this big zigzag pattern that we had in A, B, C in here for wave 2 back in 22. So I was really expecting a sideways type move, but so far I have not seen a connecting X wave because I think we had a flat, an ABC flat in here on the Qs. I have not seen a connecting X wave yet. An X wave is a 3-wave move of some kind. It doesn't have to be, it's usually a zigzag, but we'll see what we get. And then it connects to another corrective pattern, the Y, what we call Y, which could be a zigzag, could be a triangle, could be a combination of things. So we'll just wait to see if this starts to play out. The other scenario is that we're in a very, very strong impulsive wave, and that it could be, instead of this being minor 3, it's minor 1. That this is 1, 2, and we've got a bigger 3 going on, and that's a real possibility. Okay, and now I'll tell you another one that is a possibility. Don't really like it as much. That is that we had a big, strong first wave, an abbreviated third wave, much shorter than wave 1, getting a corrective pattern in here after getting a strong wave 2 pullback, getting a flat pattern in here that did not overlap wave 1, did not end in the territory of wave 1, and that we are now in a 5th wave that must be shorter than wave 3 because wave 3 can never be the shortest wave. So 2 out of the 3 scenarios that I see could be impulsive wave structures. The other count is this count right here, which is a corrective pattern that's still underway. But so far, the price action hasn't confirmed that. So that's what we're watching. We'll see. If this starts to break down and we get a big wave, a B wave pullback and then get some kind of C and it develops into an X wave, which could very easily happen, well then, it's game on for the big, sideways corrective move. We'll see. We've got some gaps in here that have closed. We still got, I guess this little gap did close. We've got this pretty good sized gap down here that is still wide open. I don't know if we're going to pull all the way back down here or not, but it's definitely on the radar. So that's where we sit with the Qs. Big, strong move, divergences developing, volume dropping off as we continue to push higher. We'll see what develops here. We're in that period where the old saying, sell in May and go away. Well, this was May 1 right here on Friday. Okay, I want to take a look at, let's take a look at the Mag 7 Magnificent Roundhill Magnificent 7 ETF. So, not confirming this Mag 7 ETF's not confirming the push above new highs that's going on in the Qs. Kind of interesting, actually, because you would think it would be right in sync with the Qs. So that tells you that the Qs are really being driven also by some other things, probably very heavily semiconductor influenced. And then you could see what happened here just the last couple of days when all the 5 out of the 7 Magnificent 7 reported their earnings. And this was up 63 cents on Friday and 30 cents for the week. Just really pretty spectacular underperformance, honestly. So that's where we sit on this particular ETF. I want to talk about, okay, so we had 4 of the Magnificent 7 report earnings on Wednesday, and then Apple on Thursday. So let's take a look at the best performing of the Magnificent 7. Alphabet Class A. This was up 10.1% over the 2-day period since it reported earnings. It reported earnings after the market closed here on Wednesday, and this is what it did Thursday and Friday. Pretty spectacular move. Nice, big, strong trend that this is in and just continues to reinforce. There's no divergence showing up yet. Yeah, we're significantly overbought. We'll see how long this wants to push. The number 2 performer, percentage-wise, after earnings, Apple, up 3.2%. Earnings came out after the market here. This was up 3.2%. But what really caught my eye is look at this candle on Friday. Wow. I mean, it looks, I don't know if it's exactly what I would call a shooting star, but it caught my eye that there were 2 of these over here, 2 out of 4 days, right over here at the top in February, and then it collapsed pretty quickly. So, big gap up, big candle like this, potential shooting star type candle, huge volume on the 2-day move, and then we'll see what happens here next week. The number 3 performer to the upside after earnings, Amazon. This was up 2%. So here's earnings after the market here on Wednesday. Big, spectacular move up at the open, collapses back down, and actually retraced everything. It was actually down at one moment on Thursday. You could see how low that candle went. And then it bounced up a little bit on Friday, up $3.20, up $4.27 for the week. But again, 5 strong weeks in a row. And then the other 2 losers. Microsoft was in 4th place. Where are we? Right here. This was down 2.4%, significantly lower the very first day, and it came back a little bit on Friday. And then Meta really got destroyed. Well, this was down 9%, and it didn't have much improvement on Friday, so pretty ugly picture. And you can see here on the weekly, this was down $66.27 from a close on Wednesday at $688.57. Over a 2-day period, yeah, it's down about 9%, I think it was total, in the same neighborhood. So actually, when you take a look at all of the Mag 7, I mean, NVIDIA and actually Tesla comes in second place over the same 2-day period. Tesla had a good little 2-day rally in here. Tesla was up 4.8% over that 2-day period. And then NVIDIA was going the opposite direction. NVIDIA was down 5.2% over that 2-day period since the other 5, the 4 reported their earnings on Wednesday. So interesting price action, interesting activity going on here with the Mag 7. We'll see what continues here this coming week. I'm also very, very focused on what does happen with this Elliott Wave picture, because we've come pretty far, pretty fast, and it just looks to me like it ought to be ready to correct. Okay, that's where we sit as of Saturday, May 2nd. Everyone have a great weekend. I'm going to watch the Kentucky Derby.